By watching this video, you will learn how to create gradients based on distance between 2 points and learn how to apply these gradients to display them on your model hatches. This time we'll be using the color gradient component, which can be found in the Rhino tab in the drafting section. Let's get to examples. Here is the script that I'm showing you today. I have drawn a circle on layer 1, which I'm querying using the query model objects component here. I am using this curve as a boundary to create a model hatch. I am using the grid 60 hatch pattern from here, and I'm using a slider to control the scale of the hatch. I'm using the area component to get the center point of the circle, and I have another point that I use to control the gradient. I am first taking the distance between the center point and the control point, dividing them by the lucky 7 and creating a series that I use as parameters for the gradient. The lower limit is set to 0 and the upper limit is set to the distance between the points. As an output from the gradient component, I am getting a list of colors. I am then feeding this list to the colors input of the color gradient component. I'm using the center point as the start point and the control point as the end point of the color gradient component. The gradient output feeds into the fill style of the model hatch component. I am currently using the radial type from the color gradient component, which means that the gradient starts from the center and spreads out all around the start point in a radial fashion. If I change the type to linear, the gradient starts from the center and only glides towards the control point. Now, as I'm using the linear parameter, everything that is considered to be before the start point is going to be of the color of the lower limit, and everything that is considered after the end point is going to be of the color of the upper limit. This is easy to demonstrate by sliding the control point inside the hatch. Now the left side of the gradient line is black and right side of the gradient line is golden yellow. Now if I start adding circles, I get 3 gradients that each start from the center points of the circles and gravitate towards the one control point. If I change the type of the color gradient to radial, I get this kind of a heat map style, which might be useful, for example, some engineering applications. If I want to spread the gradient over multiple hatches, I will need to have less start points. I have one point here that I'm going to connect as the start point now, and now every circle will use the same start point and the same end point for the gradient. I can now move this point and watch how the gradient spreads to all of the circles. I will change back to the linear gradient type to demonstrate this further. If you want to flip the gradient, you can just use a reverse list component and flip the gradient colors like this. And if you didn't know, you can right click on the gradient to select from the presets. That is all for now. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.